This is a good debate when you're out interacting with people. Is everybody out there just doing the best they can? Or are there some of us who, I guess, have parenting, teaching, work, whatever cheat codes? They're doing better than others at a different level, and some people are just leaving stuff behind, not giving all that they can, not being their best. Hi, I'm Chuck. I am an educator with a new job and a new commute. This is my drive time diary. Thanks for coming along on today's ride. We are going home, and this has been on my mind today. Is everybody out there just doing the best they can? The way this interacts with students a lot is teachers will sometimes say to students that their effort isn't high enough, that they didn't try hard enough, that they didn't study enough for the test, that they aren't paying enough attention. Now, they might be not paying as much attention as they need to be doing to be performing well in that class, but does that still mean that they're not doing the best they can? What is the reason that they didn't study as much, or cannot pay as much attention, or cannot do as well? We all only have 24 hours a day. It seems like some people have more time in the day. They get more done. They achieve more. Their relationships seem better nurtured. They're always on top of things. They don't have late bills or late assignments, or they don't have neglected friendships, neglected relationships. They always seem to be reading the next book, watching the latest movie, being the first to do XYZ. So are these people also doing the best that they can? Or are they doing better than they can? What is it? With parents. This happens in teacher workrooms, educator lounges. Some parents end up looking more supportive than others. Their kids get to school on time more often. Their kids have more academic support at home. Their kids have just obviously more attention. So are these parents doing better than the parents of kids who have less support, less attention, less kids that are getting less than their parents at home? That means that those parents aren't doing their best still. We have to look at what is that family situation. Are kids, quote, neglected at home because the parent has to be working 2, 3, 4, however many jobs, however many hours a day to provide the lifestyle for that kid that that parent thinks is, quote, them doing their best? It's really hard to judge that for any given one person, in my opinion. I know, just covered about my mic. I know there's some people that do think that some people don't do the best they can. I'm at least agnostic about this, in the sense that we don't know what we don't know about people's lives. When a kid is not performing well in whatever class because they're not doing their homework, or they're not paying as much attention, or they didn't study for the test, any of those things. When a parent doesn't contact me after I've contacted them, you don't know what you don't know. And so you don't know all the factors at home with things that are going on in that family, as far as just things that they're into. How many sports did that parent drive a kid to that night, as to the reason why they couldn't return their call or return your email? How many other stressors are happening in life besides that thing that you feel urgent about. So you have to be agnostic about that situation, and to take a compassionate stance toward people that you go through life interacting with. You have to assume that they're doing their best, in my opinion. There's been I have a monthly tattoo subscription that my wife got me for Father's Day, and it's just a temporary tattoo, and the goal of it is to help me in scripture memorization, with the goal of that then being, when you have scripture memorized, that it's in your mind, it's in your heart, and you can draw from it whenever you are going about your day. So the one that I'm about to replace here actually comes from Colossians 3:12, and it says, "Therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience." I think I got it illustrated. And so, like, as you're thinking about an attitude that would be one of Jesus, or even if you are not a follower of Jesus, just an attitude of compassion and empathy that you would want other people to extend to yourself, you have to go with this attitude that everyone is doing their best, and whatever that looks like on that given day, you have to start with the benefit of the doubt and being curious, not judgmental, to quote Ted Lasso, so that you can start first with compassion, start first with giving people what they need, and then maybe you do some fact finding and find out what support they need. Again, if you're just thinking about people are doing the best they can, if they are not doing as well as, quote, you think they should, or whatever level of attainment, proficiency that they're achieving, I think another way you can view people are doing their best is that if someone's best is not as good as someone else's, then that just means that they need some different supports. They need some more supports. They need some new supports. And so as a friend, as an educator, as someone trying to help others, if you want to look at it that way, the question to ask, instead of being judgmental, is just, what supports does this person need? When I was a young adult and just was awful at paying bills, I barely even checked the mail. There were multiple bags of mail and bills and invoices that my mom brought to me in college that had been delivered to my permanent address at home, and I just would go weeks and not open them. That is a recipe for a terrible credit score, B, just not getting things done. It was a stressor in my marriage when we first got married, because my wife has high capacity in this situation. I think a little bit of it is just her natural gifting, to say it that way. It's a natural, forgive me, dear, neurosis. She just it's a thing on her mind. She wants to do well at it. She opens the mail. She takes care of the bill, and then she wipes it off her mental to-do list. That helps her to get stuff done, and that's her doing the best she can. It results in some other things that there's always another side to that coin. People that are really good at getting that stuff done, at least in the way that I view my wife's situation, that also means that there's this extra toxic stress that they carry, because they cannot relax oftentimes until they have that thing done. People that are more like me, that don't have that feeling, it's not good for us as far as getting bills done and having good credit scores. But I am able to relax and do things that I enjoy oftentimes, even when I have that thing in the background. And I can kind of turn that off for a minute. it's dangerous. It's important to know when to turn on the warning switch. But even still, until I had systems and support and a mentor and a model for what that looked like, I was doing the best I could. I actually thought that I had great money management strategies. Here's my money management strategy. It was don't spend money. And when I was a young adult and barely really had bills, I didn't have a car until I was a junior in college. My parents, bless you all two of you, were paying my insurance. I didn't need to worry about that. I had a stipend from the Department of Defense that was paying a lot of my board type things. I did not have a ton of bills. And so when I would get a stipend check from ROTC, or whenever I would get paychecks from working over the summer, I would just save the money. And if I did not really have the money, I would just not spend the money. And it kind of that kind of works until you have like no responsibility. And then doing my best in that way did not work because I got myself into a hole. Not nearly as bad as a hole as I could have gotten into, but not a great way to start a marriage then where you're sharing bills, that kind of thing. But yeah, I needed those supports of a little more financial literacy than what I had. And I got them, and I am still not the one that manages all the bills in our house, and I think that in this case is a little bit more just because of the way that my wife stays home and works there from the home majority. So she manages those bills as part of her responsibilities there. But I am finally at a spot where I think, like, if something were to happen to her and I was responsible for paying those bills, I don't think I would make myself feel bankrupt, and I would get the gas bill paid on time, that kind of thing. Because my gas is now higher because I've got no support. So I don't know. What do you think? I had a dear friend that was on the opposite end of this spectrum. He and his wife actually were at different polarities on this question. He thought that everyone did not do their best, that everyone was not out there doing their best. It surprised me, actually, because I felt like he was generally a pretty compassionate person. We had a common friend that he helped out a lot with a lot of stuff, and like really opened up his life to this person. And he had done that multiple times. So it was really surprising to me to learn that he was not on a team. Everyone's doing their best. But I think the way you view that question ends up informing just the way that you understand human relations and the kind of grace that you give people on the day-to-day. So what do you think? Is everybody doing their best, or are some of us out there just purposefully being naive and knowing we could be doing better, but just settling for meh? Are there meh settlers? Or is that really just another version of doing the best you can if you're a meh? Sometimes it's actually important to this happens for my for like gifted kids in school. Sometimes there's kids that always want to get 100%, no matter what. If it's a super important project or it's the thing that took 5 minutes that didn't totally even matter, and it's just kind of a activity that you did. They want to give 100% effort, getting 100% every single time, and that is a stressful situation. So sometimes meh is a healthy response to responsibilities, as far as you can't do everything at 100 sustainably. You can't live that way. So that's a whole other thing. But the drive is over. This is Drive Time Diaries, and the drive time is done. So that'll be for another day, another episode. But I am home now, and the commute is over. So thanks for coming on the drive. My name's Chuck, and I'll see you next drive. Find me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Instagram at Drive Time Diary, or Mr. C. Baker from Math, Twitter at Chuck C. Baker. And we'll see you all next time.